Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unearth the hidden truths in financial filings. And today we're digging into EQT Private Equity Company LLC's latest report. And let me tell you, it is not exactly full of fireworks, but there are some interesting numbers hidden beneath the surface. So grab your coffee and let's get decoding. First off, this is a report that mainly talks about money coming into the company from selling its own shares, not from selling products or services. Think of it like a company selling pieces of itself to investors to raise cash. This type of report, an 8K, is typically for significant events. So what exactly happened here? It looks like as of the 1st of January 2026, EQT Private Equity Company LLC sold a pretty big chunk of its own shares. These are called investor shares to outside investors for about $55 million. Now, this wasn't a public stock offering where anyone can buy. Instead, these sales were done privately. And they were exempt from some of the usual registration rules because they were sold to specific types of investors, like accredited investors who are considered financially sophisticated, or non-US investors outside of the United States. Let's break down where that money came from. The company sold different types of shares and we can see how much cash came in for each. For example, they sold Class A iShares, and in total, investors put in over $16 million for that specific type of share. Then there were the Class A shares, which brought in the largest chunk of cash, almost $29 million. Other classes like a J1 and a J2 also contributed, with amounts like $6.2 million and $3 million respectively. When you add it all up, the total cash received from these private share sales was a hefty $55,027,690. Now keep in mind, the filing notes that these numbers are rounded, so there might be some minor differences if you were to do the exact math down to the penny. The company finalized the exact number of shares sold on the 20th of January, 2026. After figuring out the value of its shares at that time. And this isn't a one-off event for them. Since they started this whole process back on the 1st of July 2025, up until the date of this report, they've sold a massive amount of investor shares, over $523 million worth. This tells us that EQT Private Equity Company LLC is actively raising a lot of capital through these private placements, meaning they are likely investing this money into various projects or companies. Now, here is where we put on our analyst hats. What does this tell us about the company's direction? EQT Private Equity Company LLC is essentially acting as an investment vehicle, raising money from investors and then presumably investing it. The fact that they are continuously selling shares and raising such large sums indicates a strong appetite from investors to give them their money to manage. This suggests confidence in the company's investment strategy and its ability to generate returns. However, it is important to remember that this filing is primarily about capital raising, not about the operational performance of underlying businesses. We don't see revenue figures from actual business operations here, nor do we see expenses or profits. This is pure fundraising. The people signing off on this are Bethany Alinik, who holds the title of Legal Director and Secretary. This is standard procedure for these reports, ensuring that the company is officially acknowledging the information being filed. Looking at the bigger picture, EQT Private Equity is a player in the private equity space. This sector is all about buying companies, improving them, and then selling them for a profit. The large capital infusions we see here suggest they are actively deploying funds, which is a positive sign for growth within their investment portfolio. A key takeaway here is the reliance on private placements. While exempt from some regulations, these deals typically involve sophisticated investors who do their own due diligence. For EQT, this means they need to consistently deliver results to keep attracting those investors. One potential risk to consider is the continuous fundraising model. If investor sentiment shifts, or if EQT's investment performance falters, it could become harder to raise capital, which in turn could slow down their ability to make new investments or support existing ones. On the flip side, the sheer volume of capital raised indicates a strong market belief in their strategy. In conclusion, EQT Private Equity Company LLC is demonstrating a robust ability to attract substantial capital through private share sales. This suggests investor confidence and an active investment strategy. While this filing doesn't give us a look at operational profits or losses, it clearly signals significant capital growth, which is the fuel for any private equity firm. The company's direction seems to be one of aggressive fundraising and deployment of capital in the private markets. The main opportunity is the continued access to this capital for strategic investments. A notable risk is the dependency on investor appetite. Alright? That is our breakdown of EQT Private Equity Company LLC's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think this continuous fundraising is a sign of strength or a potential vulnerability? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out. And make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into corporate finance, and don't forget to check out our Discord community, linked in the description for even more insights and discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.